It's over. It's actually finally over. I just got done watching the series finale of True Blood. It was episode 10 of season 7 entitled Thank You. And I still am getting over this episode. I'm still realizing that this is the last episode ever. The show is over. But let's jump right into it because the episode started with Bill calling on Sookie like he wanted to. He goes over her house and he basically explains to her why he's choosing the true death, why he's dying. And I've already understood why Bill was doing this. He not only wants Sookie to go on, live a normal life, and have kids with somebody, but he feels like this has to happen for him. He has to go see his human family, his real family, on the other side. And I think all of that, even though I saw that, I think it helped put it into perspective on what needed to happen to Bill. We see Eric and Pam team up to kill Gus, the leader of the Yakuza. I love the way that they did it, how they just blew his ass up. That was awesome. And they also let Sarah Newland go, which made me happy because I didn't want anything bad to happen to Sarah Newland. I know I'm the only one, but still. And when Pam meets up with Sarah later on, Sarah is so good at being the woman to know what to do in her situation. She's always been the woman to go after the most powerful guy and try to sucker up to him and be with him to keep that power, to keep her position. Here, she's willing to become a lesbian and be turned into a vampire by Pam, and I just love Sarah Newland for that. Pam didn't bite, though. Actually, technically, she did bite. She bit her. She wanted her blood, and you can guess what happened to Sarah after that. Then we see Jessica and Hoyt go to visit Vampire Bill, as everyone calls him. And it was nice to see, and it was funny to see Bill sort of be happy to see Jessica and Hoyt back together. And he even hinted at a wedding, which I know is kind of out of line. And it's like, whoa, they just got together. But I liked his reason. He said he wanted to be able to give Jessica away. And Jessica just says, okay, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's get married today. And I'm like, what? So not only do you have the breakup that they had in season 5 and everything that went on with that, but as soon as Hoyt comes back, they basically get back together and now they're getting married. I certainly wasn't expecting that. I liked a lot of scenes actually with Sookie in this episode. The one flashback that she has with Tara, and them being best friends as kids, and you saw Gran, and just all of that really was nice because since Tara physically couldn't be there in the series finale, it made just too much sense to have a flashback of their friendship, of how close they were. I even liked how I think they dubbed Tara's real voice into the little girl, so it sounded like Tara. All that I liked. Then I liked when Sookie went to visit Jason's house and she meets Bridget, and she even goes to Jason and tries to talk to him about the fact that Bill wants her to kill him with her light, which would then make her no longer Faye. And Jason's reaction of, wait, Sookie, are you asking me for advice? Because I have no idea what to tell you. Love Jason for that. But then Jason gets a phone call, and it's Hoyt asking him to be his best man. Wow. It might seem like that came out of nowhere, but look, I love that happened. I love the moment that they share later on when they talk and they're basically reminiscing, even though Hoyt doesn't quite remember it. But just them regaining that friendship, it was something that I wanted. When Hoyt forgave Jessica, I'm so glad to see them back as friends. I think it's where the show needed to end in that way. And then the wedding. The wedding was great. It was comical in moments when it needed to be, with Arlene and Holly there and the music, and then the little awkwardness of them not being prepared really for the wedding, not having rings and whatnot. But it was still a nice, sweet, and touching moment, especially because this was what Bill wanted. And then something weird happened. Sookie started to hear Bill's thoughts. And that was just weird because she can't hear vampires' thoughts. Bill said earlier that this disease is making him feel more human, so I guess that's why it's happening. But it was weird to have that happen. And I'm just going to jump to the end of the episode because Sookie killed Bill. And that was hard to watch for so many reasons. I'm glad she didn't use her light, because I never wanted her to give up being a fairy, because that's her. But her getting the wood, the piece of wood, the stake, and just staking him, and him turning into a big pile of goo, blood, in the coffin, it was sad to see that happen to Bill. The fact that it's what he wanted, it was sad. And then Sookie leaving the cemetery covered in blood, looking like Carrie. And then it faded to black, and I thought, okay. It wasn't like I disliked the episode. I really liked the episode. But if it had ended with just her leaving the cemetery, I would have been very underwhelmed. But then we got a nice epilogue of, I think they said 3 years later. And you see Eric as the CEO of this new thing called New Blood. And it's basically him and Pam at the head of this new corporation. And they're using Sarah Newland's blood to do what they said they were going to do, cure vampires with hepatitis V. And that was very cool and very comical to see them taking this business up and beyond. And then we see that Pam made do on her promise to turn Sarah into a blood slut, I guess you could say, a blood slave, where she's selling her to vampires to bite and feed on for like, what was it, $100,000 a minute or something like that. So, I don't know. I know there's going to be a lot of people not happy that Sarah didn't die. I'm happy she didn't die, but it's almost worse to have her locked up, chained up, and almost forced to be fed on by vampires. And now she's batshit crazy with hallucinations of her ex-husband, Steve Newland. Of course, she had to throw him in there. But still, I'm like, wow, I don't know what's worse. If you killed her, or if you have her now being in the dungeon as a blood slut. I don't know. I'm the only person I know that feels bad for Sarah Newland. Then we see that Jason, in fact, ended up with Bridget. In fact, they have kids. 3 kids. And sure, it might sound a little unbelievable or just so quick to see Jason as a family man, but I've always thought of Jason to be that good, nice guy. At least he wanted to be that type of guy. So it's not hard for me to see him become that. It was nice to see him grow so many years later and become that person. I was very happy to see Sam come back with Nicole, with his kids, to visit, because I was so upset by not only him leaving in the last episode, but the way his whole character was used this season. I wasn't happy with it. So I guess, since I can't change that, bringing him back was a plus. And then we saw, in the future, Sookie's pregnant. And when I saw her belly, I said, holy crap, who is she with? Who is she pregnant by? And I was just kind of waiting and waiting to see who the lucky guy is that ended up with Sookie. It was cool to see basically everybody who's still alive, the whole gang. You saw Willa, Arlene with Keith, you saw Letty Mae, you saw Adeline, you basically saw everybody, the whole group, and they're at the dinner table having Thanksgiving dinner, and the guy that Sookie is with is faceless. You only see the back of his head, they kiss, and I could see if some people are like, what? We don't even know who she ended up with, or she ended up with a person that wasn't even on the show. I get it. There's a part of me that's kind of like, 7 years and we don't even know who Sookie ended up with. I agree, it's in some ways lame, but I get what they were doing. They wanted just the idea of Bill didn't die for no reason, that what he wanted for Sookie, a normal life, or as normal as a fairy could live, and her being pregnant with kids now, it's that idea happened. And that's the happy ending for Sookie. I get that. I like it. It's just, if I could rewrite the show, I would have never had Sam end up with Nicole, and I would have had Sookie end up with Sam and have kids with Sam. That's my perfect, ideal ending for True Blood. Obviously, we didn't get that. Little nitpicky, I know. It's really a small complaint because I really enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed how it wrapped everything up with a lot of the characters. The epilogue especially very much helped with seeing where these characters ended up. Also, thinking about it too, I guess Sookie could have ended up with Alcide. Like, they didn't have to kill Alcide because they could have had kids, right? Little fairy werewolf kids. Alright, maybe that would have been weird. Anyways, guys, it's sad to see the show go. It's going to be very weird next summer to not have True Blood on. Who knows? Next summer, I might just have to rewatch all 7 seasons back to back. Just because. That's how much I do love this show. I love the finale. Let me know in the comments below if you saw the season finale, the series finale, and what did you think of it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Later!